Hello again. It's time for Mark's Ramblings, this time for July. We're going to go down the road of history for a little bit, related to, well, baseball, sort of, kind of. All right. You may have heard about Disco Demolition Night in Chicago. That was 1979. Well, that's not this. You're probably familiar with that. But this is about an incident on a warm spring night along Lake Erie 5 decades ago in 1974. A well intended promotion meant to attract fans for the perpetually lousy Cleveland Indians turned ugly and triggered a booze fueled riot, now known as one of the most notorious events in American sports history. On Tuesday, June 4th, 10-cent beer night turned 50 years old. A game that began with a handful of fans tipsy on cheap beer running across the outfield grass, some of them naked, well, it collapsed into chaos. During a scary ninth inning, Texas manager Billy Martin, who you may have heard about, never one to back down from a fight, turned to his players in the dugout, told them to grab their bats before leading a charge onto the Municipal Stadium field and into mayhem. By the time the Rangers escaped to their clubhouse with a win via forfeit after surviving hundreds of fans storming the field as the Indians were rallying, it became apparent this was a big mistake, meaning the 10-cent beer. I guess there's about 25,000 fans there, one of the largest crowds, if not the largest crowd for the season so far for the Cleveland Indians. Even before the first keg was tapped or a 10-ounce beer poured, there already was simmering tension between the Rangers and Indians. A week earlier, the teams had brawled in Texas, where Rangers fans pelted the Indians players with debris. After the skirmish, Martin lit a proverbial match when asked if he feared retribution on an upcoming trip to Cleveland. Martin quipped, "They don't have enough fans there to worry about." That comment did not sit well back in Cleveland. When the game started in Cleveland, hot dogs were thrown from the stands. About the second inning, fans started running back and forth across the outfield from the left field bullpen to the right field bullpen. When people were streaking across the field and the cops were chasing them, they laughed and said, "You can't catch me." There was a handful of cops on the other side with billy clubs, though, and when those fans came over that fence, they met them with a couple whacks to the head and dragged them off. Long lines making the wait too long to get a refill of beer. Some unruly fans, some college kids just home for summer break, chased off concession workers manning the beer trucks set up beyond the center field wall. Well, the beer was now free. From 10-cent beer to free beer. You can't beat that. Almost players escaped major harm. Indians pitcher Tom Hilgendorf's head was split open by a chair thrown from the stands as fights broke out all over the field. Today, the ugly event is commemorated with throwback T-shirts marking the night beer, blood, and baseball mixed. The rest of the country was outraged at the time. Apparently, Cleveland wasn't, because the Indians held another beer night a month later. I have no information on how that one went. Okay. So forget about Disco Demolition Night in Chicago in 79. 1974, June 4th, 10-cent beer night turned into what was officially dubbed Riot, I guess. Classified as a riot. That's it for my ramblings for July. Glad you could join me. 4th of July is coming up, so be careful with those legal or illegal fireworks, okay? Bye now.